Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews. It's been a while, hasn't it? I can only apologise. There's been things going on. Obviously, I have a new young child. And then there's been, I won't go into any sob-story material, of course, but there has been, some health things that I've had to have a look at and still potentially dealing with. So, this kind of stuff takes a bit of a back seat. But I'm here on the fly, as it were, in my car, steering wheel right in front of this irresponsibly placed camera, to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. And yes, I have seen this film. Myself and my wife saw this film on Saturday as a treat. We haven't watched anything for months at this point. And I've got to be honest with you, as I always am, straight off the brass tacks, as it were. I did not care for this film.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
This 4-part series squashed into a meandering movie because we have to do something, because we've got nothing else coming for years apart from Ryan Gosling's Starfighter movie next year, which hardly anybody knows about. I bet you didn't even know about that. But yes, this movie, I enjoyed most of the first half, I will say, because there seemed to be a lot of action going on, and it's quite easy to be blinded by the action, isn't it, when there's fuck all else going on. Bright lights and shiny objects, of course, that's what children enjoy. Apologies children, but it's true. And the second half of the movie completely trailed off. The problem that I have with this film is, besides the plot being so wafer thin and there being absolutely bugger all character development at all, there is no character development for Grogu, for Mando, for anybody in this movie, apart from Road to the Hut, I suppose. And besides that, it's completely inconsequential to the rest of the universe, anything that's come before it, anything that comes after it. It's completely inconsequential to its own series, the Mandalorian series. Nothing happens in this film that will ultimately change what comes next, if anything comes next, for Mando, for Grogu. There's literally no change whatsoever. And like I said, that's all part and parcel of character development and the sheer lack of it. And because of that, I wonder what the actual fucking point of this being a cinema release movie is, apart from the cynical, obvious point, and as they needed it to be a cinema release to make money. And I'm not going to go into the whole money thing at all. I'm quite happily here just to talk through the movie and my thoughts on it. I really did not enjoy it whatsoever. Like I said, I think Road to the Hut has the most character development, if you like, in this film. But annoyingly, because there is no plot, so to speak, within this film, and the dialogue is terrible, it's just bare bones dialogue. You churn through the motions from one action set piece to another. Because of that, it relies heavily on a lot of nostalgia as well. And while you don't have to have seen any of the previous material from even Mando itself, but any of the cartoons or anything like that, even though it says you don't have to, it assumes you have done, in order to fully understand who these characters are, what that reference is, who that thing is, why that monster's so scary or so important. It's nostalgia baiting at its finest, because you'll see these things and you'll go, oh, wow, that's cool. That's cool again, isn't it? That's great. It's substituting grand storytelling, event movie storytelling for simple nostalgia tricks to make you go, wow, that's cool. To compensate that, it brings in action set pieces all over the place to cover that if you don't get the nostalgia. And all of it is CGI. Admittedly, the CGI is a lot better than what we see in the series, but not much more, because it's all rambunctious. There's something going on. The editing is all over the place. It's cuts from spits and farts here, there, and everywhere. It becomes messy to the point where we have 3 full-blown slugs battling it out at the end of the movie, and by then I'm done seeing slugs fighting. They just look like big shits on my screen, and I couldn't be bothered. I was done. I was churned out after 2 hours and 10 minutes of this movie, churned out by the overblown CGI nonsense that's on the screen. Some of the earlier fighting, some of the earlier action set pieces in the movie are a lot better when Mando is almost full John Wick battling remnant stormtroopers, and that's the most interesting part of the film, when he's hunting a very specific person, and then it becomes almost a different movie entirely in the second half. It really does play like one of those grand 2-part episodes that you used to get in X-Files, in Star Trek The Next Generation, or something like that, where it's squashed together and it's a great one-piece moment. But it's so obvious that this was season 4. So the point, one of the actors in the movie, Coyne, I think his name is, Lord Coyne, he turned around and said he thought he was supposed to be in season 4 of Mando. Well, technically you were, my friend. They just squashed it into this piece of shit. And I may say a piece of shit. That's a bit harsh. It's not an entire piece of shit. I think it's the remnant stormtroopers piece of shit, really. It's wafer thin. It's wafer thin. And at this point where we are, however many years after the disastrous rise of Skywalker and the critical lamentation that film ultimately deserved, is this the movie that we all wanted? Does this movie scream event Star Wars to anyone? If you say yes, you're lying, as far as I'm concerned. You're lying, because this is not an event movie. Even the film tells you it's not an event movie. It's a single-serving, long-form episode of Mando and Grogu as they go about their daily travels across the galaxy to hunt down Imperials at the behest of the rebellion. There's nothing else to it. There is literally nothing else to it. And then they get sidetracked along the way, something happens, and it comes to a rousing conclusion where they carry on their travels across the galaxy. Only this time they're having a break from hunting the Imperials. Oh wow, that's wonderful. I'm really excited for the sequel. Slight adjustment, the camera died. It's too hot in here, obviously.
No shit.
But yeah, it smacks to me that this film was released. I can't remember if I said this at the start. It was released purely because they have nothing else going for them in terms of Star Wars movies beyond Starfighter. They have nothing else going for them. The amount of films that have been delayed or cancelled or whatever, shelved, you name it, is ridiculous for Lucasfilm and for Star Wars. And ultimately, this film should have just been a Disney Plus release. There's no meat on the bones for this movie. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, some of my peers have said the same thing, that they find it fun, it's great escapism, it doesn't ask you any questions. But wasn't Star Wars built on that? Wasn't it built on, this grand epic adventure that has mystery and wonder to it? Thinking to Empire Strikes Back, the way that ends, the mystery and wonder, and oh my god, these questions, I have so many questions. This is earth-shattering, universe-shattering. There is nothing here for this movie. There's nothing here of that. Nothing changes with these characters from the beginning to the end. Absolutely fuck all changes for these characters. How is that movie level, anything? How is that movie level anything? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm just too old and cynical and grumpy and ill for this, for this genre anymore. Maybe I'm just too old, miserable for Star Wars fandom, I guess. I don't know, I still spend an absolute fucking fortune on merchandise, but that's a me problem, isn't it? But there you go. That is ultimately my thoughts on it, and I don't really have much else to say, I think. I just found it disappointing and pointless. Ultimately pointless. My wife, who's very much more forgiving, to quote Vader in a certain way, she found this completely tepid, and she's been enamoured with Grogu since the start, and she found this completely pointless and a waste of time. She said, "I've wasted my evening, thank you very much." Admittedly, we got chopsticks noodles beforehand, and they were all right. They were good. Best part of the evening, I think. But there's nothing else for this movie. Realistically, if you've seen this film, ask yourself, will you go back and watch this film? Will you go back and rewatch this in any capacity? And be honest with yourself. Can you actually see yourself rewatching this in the same way that you've watched any of the Star Wars movies previously? For me, this is much more akin to Solo in that just poor decision making of making this a movie. I don't see what the issue was in just having this be a even shorter series of Mando. No, it's all about the money, isn't it? But there you go. That's my review, I suppose, for The Mandalorian and Grogu, the theatrical event of the summer. Welcome back, Star Wars cinema, I guess. Here we are, meandering our way through, just like the MCU has. And there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Again, apologies it's been so long since doing the last review. I won't bore you with any further details, but I am still here. I've got my eyes on Masters of the Universe, because the missus wants to watch it for some reason. I think it might be to do with Prince Adam, really, but there you go. So yeah, you may catch me on that one. We'll just have to see how things are going, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate all the support you've given me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.